Hello, all. Welcome on into your tarot spread for the week ahead. This is for the week of December 22nd, I believe, 2025. And in honor of it being essentially the last week or so of the year, week and a half of 2025, I thought I'd do something a little fun with this reading. And I'm actually going to pull an oracle card as well as our tarot reading. So the oracle card, I'm pulling it with the intention of it being sort of the energy to embody for the last week and a half of the year, and maybe sort of think about it as a supportive card that can be used in conjunction with the tarot reading. And the deck I'm using for that is the Quiet Rebel Oracle by Lynn Thurman. I found this Lynn Thurman, this creator, this deck creator, author, illustrator, however you'd like to term it, through a Kickstarter. And I have one of her tarot decks. I have this oracle deck, and I actually backed another deck of hers. And I absolutely love them. In part here, I love that it says the Quiet Rebel Oracle invites you to join the most powerful rebellion of all. And it's a defiance born from within, a subtle revolution of the soul. And it's a companion in inner rebellion, offering inspiration, empowerment, and guidance as we navigate life's twists and turns. And that's what I hope to do with my own tarot readings in part. Empowerment or empowering readings is something I aim to do. And so I love these decks sort of I vibe with them, if you will. And I love the bright sort of tropical background. This and the other deck I have, the tarot deck I have these bright tropical backgrounds. And the card that just popped up for us that we're holding, our theme, our emotion, our energy that we're holding for the rest of the year is connecting to the limitless and potential, which is really a beautiful way to finish out the year and to approach the new year. So let's think about what would we do? What would you do if there was nothing holding you back? What would you achieve if you didn't have any constraints, either those that you put on yourself or those that others put on you? What would be the absolute best outcome? And sometimes in tarot, I'll do a 3-card reading where the third card will be technically a future position. And since I am not a predictive reader, I can't tell someone their future because you always have a choice. But I will give sort of if everything continues in the best possible way, what's the highest possible outcome for this? And I think this is sort of the message of this in here as well, that what's the highest possible outcome if you explore yourself and your abilities, and again, that potential, if you connect to what is truly possible for you. And so we're going to ground into that energy. Sorry, making sure my card's in frame here. We're going to connect to that energy for the last week and a half of the year. And now we'll start our tarot reading. Thanks for going along with me on that journey. So here is our tarot reading for, I guess this is the last full week of the year, isn't it? Last full week. So we have a week and a half or so left in the year, 2025. But we also, this is the last full week of the year. I am a person who celebrates Christmas. So this is a time of year where there's a major holiday this week for me, which I am looking forward to. I love Christmas. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, all of that. And, that is a good one. That is a good card for the energy. It goes great with our potential and connecting to the limitless. The deck I am using this week is actually another deck that I backed on Kickstarter. Actually, I got this as an award as part of the backing on Kickstarter. I actually backed an oracle deck by this creator. And this is the Gentle Tarot. Published by Mari in the Sky. And I'm going to read the back of the deck because I think she says it best herself. So the Gentle Tarot is healing yourself. You heal the earth. The Gentle Tarot is an indigenous-made, hand-drawn tarot filled with imagery influenced by life in remote Alaska. The colorful art inspires connection with our natural environment, providing an open door for self-healing. The Gentle Tarot reminds us that when we truly believe in ourselves, we become powerful, potent beings. And I really love that. I've enjoyed working with the deck. I got it earlier this week, and I've really been enjoying working with it, both with myself and for others in readings. And people always, people will ask, why do you need so many decks? Or are the decks really that different? And they really are. Different decks have different energy. Different decks suit different people better than others would. Or, decks have different energies to them based on the artwork, or this one is actually called the Gentle Tarot. So to expect softer art maybe, or softer imagery. I love that this particular deck draws themes of nature. And there are decks that are a little bit more modern, or a little bit more, I don't want to say confrontational imagery, but a little bit more assertive imagery, shall we say, which can meet other folks, we can meet people's energy where they need to be met, can meet my energy where I need to be met. If I'm having a grumpy week, sometimes more assertive confrontational tarot is where I'm at. But today we are going with, or this week we're going with the Gentle Tarot by Mari in the Sky. And we'll cut and start pulling. Sometimes we get jumpers, sometimes we don't. Okay, and this is interesting. Again, I hope everyone sort of pays attention. I hope you're paying attention to these readings. Of course you are. I don't doubt you. I know you're paying attention. Hi, Mom. But we get some repeats from week to week, which are always very interesting to me. And I think we have a card here that is repeating in the exact same position as it was last week. So our theme of the week, which I think is excellent and really powerful for the last week of the year here. Our card of the week is the Fool, which is card 0 in tarot. It's the first step. It really is that leap that you're taking without seeing the whole journey. It's a leap where there might be some hesitation, some second guessing, some fear, some apprehension, starting something new. And starting something new often blindly, like, again, we can't see where the journey's going to take. It's Dorothy taking that first step on the yellow brick road and trusting it's going to take her to Oz, the Emerald City. It's that sort of journey that the Fool is on. Ooh, that's a good comparison. I'm proud of myself for that one. Dorothy is the Fool. Actually, technically, I guess the Scarecrow would be the Fool, but you get what I'm saying. The Fool is often the smartest person in the room. And they're often the person who's best at listening to their internal compass, regardless of their actual intellectual abilities. Our last card of the year, or last card for the full week of the year, is the Fool. So whatever you're considering doing, whatever plans you might be laying for the new year, if other people are telling you those plans are ridiculous, they are not. You know yourself best. You know where you want to go. And you know that taking the first steps are what is going to get you there, is what's going to get you there. I particularly love the imagery here of not really seeing. This looks like it could be a face, but it's sort of obscured, so we really don't see. And I love that, like, this, it gives us the impression of being underwater, but there's a rainbow. So when we go deep, when we look at those places, we often find beauty we didn't know existed. When we're willing to take the risk and look at things from a new perspective, or take a different track, there's often a lot of true beauty there for us. And that's sort of where the magic in life lies, or the magic of our journey lies. So whatever you're considering starting, whatever you're considering doing that's new, harness this end of year energy, the beginning new year energy, and really work on making that happen for yourself. It's really, again, connecting to the limitless of the potential here, and using this energy in tandem is a big energy for that. For Monday, which is today, we have 5 of Wands. So this is sort of early in this week, you might be finding that sort of arguments just to argue, arguments just to be right, people who are pushing buttons, who, you know, it's not important. You know, you shouldn't get sucked into it. You know, it's not anything you want to get involved in, but you might be kind of pulled, like you might be kind of pulled into that sort of little tussle, that sort of little argument. These are rarely overly serious arguments or tussles or struggles, or, you know, it's more like that annoying coworker that tries to needle at you, you know, to get a rise out of you. It's more that sort of energy than any big life conflict. Just be aware that that's there. It's also, you know, maybe this is a reminder. It is the holiday season for so many of us, and it can be a time where our nerves are running thin, other people's nerves are wearing thin, and maybe a reminder to have some compassion. We don't know what other people are going through. It can often be a rough time for all of us, and those arguments or those little needlings that might seem superficial might have a lot behind them for some people. So as they say, when you have a choice to choose to be anything, choose to be kind. That I think is our Five of Wands lesson for this week. For Tuesday, we have the Empress, and this is, oh, I love the art on this card. This is really beautiful. I love this sort of turquoisey color. This is one of my favorite colors, and the wildflowers, and I believe in elk, but please feel free to correct me if it's not an elk. Yeah, really, the Empress is a really beautiful energy of receiving. There is both an energy of nurturing and helping to grow in this card, and also an energy of, again, receiving the good, receiving what's coming to you, and being open to that receiving. And I think that's more the message here, is to be open to receiving what's coming, because we have this journey we're starting. We have again a holiday season where quite literally part of so many people's celebrations is receiving gifts. So, you know, being open to receive, maybe examine your relationship to being able to receive and how you receive, and maybe taking the time to investigate, are there any blocks there? Is there a resistance? You know, this could be a resistance to receiving from others, that flares up into these little tussles or arguments. So yeah, the Empress, I feel right now for us, is really about receiving. How are you better able to receive? How are you in a position to receive? And what blocks do you have to receiving? For Wednesday, we have the Chariot, which is also a card of a journey. You know, it's about incorporating all aspects of the journey. It's about finding what you need on the journey. It's about knowing that you have what you need to complete your journey. For me also, I feel like the Chariot, there's something about, you know, the protective armor we wear as we move through life, and maybe evaluating whether or not the shell you wear, the armor you wear, still suits you. You know, are you trying too hard to protect yourself from all of this insignificant stuff? You know, are you wearing so much armor that, you know, you're trying to block out even these minor things and end up blacking out everything because you've got that. And again, that goes along with our receiving. Also, what maybe do you need to let go of? Again, are you so armored up? Are you so protected in your shell that you're not able to move forward without letting go of some of that? But this is a journey. This is a transition. You know, we're heading towards the rainbow again. We have lots of rainbow imagery on this. I like that. This is a good reading. Lots of rainbows in this reading with the art on these cards. But yeah, we're heading to something better. It's not necessarily easy. You know, he's got to bear with some stepping stones, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But it does require some evaluation of what are we carrying with us on this journey, and do we need to? For Thursday, we have Nine of Cups, which I think was our card for the week Thursday last week too. And as you all can see, I shuffle these cards live, and I randomly pick them. So I think it's always amazing when we get some cards that show up that are repeats, especially because we're using a completely different deck. Nine of Cups is a wonderful card. It really, like I said, I probably said this last week. I probably always say this when I start to talk about this card with people. It's commonly known as the Wish Come True card. And so really, when we embrace our potential, when we let go of those fears to achieve, when we're willing to take those first steps on our journey, regardless if we're afraid, regardless of whether we have some apprehension, when we're ready to take those steps, and we tune out the insignificant noise, or we look at our resistance, we're ready to receive, and we know that on this journey we can't take everything on this journey, so we have to shed some of it, maybe some of those old walls or protections we've put up. Maybe that's part of what we need to shed. We're going to get to this beautiful place. We're going to get to this beautiful place of flowers and growth and rainbows, and we can see the sun and the rain, and it's everything. It's all of this beauty, all of this bounty, all of this abundance. And we're going to get there. This journey, this is bringing us to this place of the wishes that come true. And I think that's a really beautiful way to end the week. It's a beautiful way to sort of end the year and to end our first full week of the year, or last full week of the year. But wait, there's more. We've got 3 more cards. But yeah, no, this is really beautiful. This is beautiful for us, and I love that it's come up 2 weeks in a row, as far as I remember. So for Friday, we have the Hierophant, or the Hierophant. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm not sure what's right. I usually say Hierophant, but I've also heard Hierophant. And this is a card of sort of looking for guidance outside of ourselves. It's a card of perhaps deepening a spiritual practice, perhaps starting really a deeper course of study that might be guided. So you might find a teacher, a mentor. If you're a religious person, this might mean finding, a religious leader, a pastor, a priest, someone who helps you deepen that spiritual connection. It might be examining, since we're in a holiday season, this could also mean examining customs and habits, or not habits, but customs and ways of celebrating, and tradition is a big part of this card, and examining whether or not that no longer serves us, going back to the Chariot here. So it's a pretty big card. It's a pretty deep card. It can mean, like I said, letting go of that tradition of this is the way we've always done it, and embracing something new. Or it can be, for you, if you're on the other side of that, it can mean being called to deepen. Maybe that's part of your new journey you're starting, being called to deepen into a spiritual practice or a connection, and finding some guidance, whether it's a book that helps you, or a person, finding some guidance to help deepen that connection. So that's our Hierophant, or Hierophant. So we have, I forget, I think Root of Cups, I think, is the Knight in this deck. I hope that's right, because I think the Seed of Cups is the Page, so I think Root of Cups is actually the Knight in this deck. So again, hey, this is just another reminder that different tarot decks call the suits, or names. You have different names for different suits, different names for the court cards. And yeah, once you learn that what it is in the deck is what it is, that is it's pretty easy to make transitions between decks. And we have more rainbows. So yeah, just embracing all the glory, all the light, all parts of life, all parts of ourselves, all parts of others, with love and compassion here. And which really is the Knight of Cups, or Root of Cups, is just embracing love in all its forms, leading with love and shining with love, and choosing that really as the primary way we move through the world, especially on Saturday. So be sure to shine your heart on Saturday, shine it open, and really embrace moving through the world with that. Sometimes it can mean being in love with being in love. And also, if you're in a romantic relationship or romantic partnership, maybe shower a little extra love on that person on Saturday, because this is the Knight of Cups can be a card of romance. He's a very a very dashing romantic figure usually. Yeah, and if you're not in a romantic partnership and you don't want to be, that is cool. No judgment. Maybe lavish a little bit more attention and love on yourself on Saturday. Or your loved ones, friends, family. There's no wrong answer. Although I feel like this is more of a romantic love vibe here, but there's no shame. There's no shame in embracing love in all of its forms on Saturday. So that's our Root of Cups or Knight of Cups in this deck. In this deck, there's no Suit of Swords. It's the Suit of Thunder, which I really like. Again, we have another rainbow. So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards with rainbows this week. Yay, yay us. Four of Thunder or Four of Swords is a card I very much like. I love that we can see that there is a storm around this person, but they're taking time. I love that they're supported by the rainbow in this storm, because this card for Sunday, let's take a rest. Let's relax. Let's feel where we're supported in life. Let's feel the levels of support we have and take a rest, even if there is storms moving around us. And again, for a lot of us, it's a holiday season. So there's a lot going on, social events, familial events, just a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world too. I don't want to diminish the very serious things that are happening in the world. And so Sunday is a good day to take a rest, to know all of this going on around you. It's still going to be there. In the case of family and things, they're obviously not going anywhere, so it's still going to be there. But take a moment to rest. Take a moment to feel where you are supported or who is supporting you. And I always think of Four of Swords as a very deep rest. So really tuning things out. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Close your eyes. Put on an eye mask. Close your eyes. Take a nap. Do a really deep meditation. Whatever that feels, whatever a deep rest feels like to you in the course of the day. Take some time. And honestly, there's no wrong amount. If you've got 15 minutes to do a meditation, you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb, do your meditation for 15 minutes. If you've got 3 minutes to write in your journal, take the 3 minutes to write in your journal. Anything that is mindful, that sort of takes you out of the world for a bit, that quiets the world for a bit. Four of Thunder or Four of Swords is that card, is telling you to take that rest. The world's all still going to be there. But I do like the image of the rainbow here and the person resting back on the rainbow, because I feel like it is sort of feel where you're supported. Know you're supported. You're supported by the energy of life. You're supported by all of this, all of these levels, deep support. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, to listen to this. Always appreciate feedback. I always appreciate questions, comments. If you have a different interpretation of what we're talking about here, I would love to hear it. If you have different interpretations of the cards, I'd love to hear those. I'd love to hear how these cards play out in your life. Please feel free to leave a comment. And I'm also doing personalized year ahead readings. You will get 13 cards, one for each month, and then a card for your general theme of the year. And you can book those via my website, which I will post in the description of this video. But no, I absolutely love to do personal, private readings for people. So feel free to check out my website and book a reading if you are so called. If not, please feel free to continue enjoying these weekly readings for the collective here. And I will see you next week. Enjoy.